All right, so this is Kenny Santos out of Toronto, Canada for KennySantos.com. What do you say when a prospect asks you, well, what is it? I have addressed this before in some past videos, but the reason why I'm addressing this again is because I did get an email from one of my YouTube subscribers and just asked a simple question. Him or her name is Lao Soka, and I really hope I'm pronouncing the name correctly. If I'm not, I apologize. But they responded to one of my videos on Facebook. It was the video about how to get better at prospecting, and I just posted it like not even a month ago. And so if I remember, I'll leave a link to that video in the description of this one, how to get better at prospecting. But Lau actually asked, one problem I have now is I don't know how to respond when a prospect asks, what is it? Here's what I do. I explain it to them, but the problem is the more I explain, the more they don't understand. But when I don't explain, they say I am hiding something. This would help a lot if I got advised. Thanks. And then this is a note. I use social media to prospect. So this is good. This is good. I'm actually going to answer this question. But before I do, if you are getting value from my blog and my content and my videos, my audios, then I invite you to do something super easy and super simple. I invite you to either like, subscribe, share, comment. It is a super easy way, and it is a simple way for you to support my blog and to do so for free. So, what do you say when someone says, what is it? And a lot of network marketers, they really don't know what to do. They might be at a networking meeting and it's their turn to give their 30-second kind of elevator pitch, or maybe they're just prospecting and someone asks, what is it? And it is probably the most popular response to a prospecting question. If you just kind of ask someone, are you at all open to a side project if it didn't interfere with what you're doing? Or would you be at all open to creating any extra income outside of being a mechanic if that's what their profession is? You're expected, you're prepared for when they say yes, and you're kind of almost prepared when they say no, but you're not prepared for when they say, what is it? And that is going to be their answer. I don't know if it's 90% of the time, because or more, but it's certainly going to be the they're going to ask that more than they're going to give you an answer of a yes or a no. So it's important that you know. And what is important is that you use the company tools to explain for you. The more you're not part of the equation, the better it is. And so the reason why is because you want to make it look easy for the prospect. And let me give you an example. I used to be the guy that was doing all the big meetings and all the presentations for a great health and wellness company. There was this weight loss product that I had lost a ton of weight in, and I was explaining how it worked. I was able to explain the science of it. Part of the reason why they had me explain the science of it is because I had a lot of credibility, not only because I used the product, but because I also used to be a registered nurse. I was able to kind of have that authorization behind me. I did understand it maybe a little bit better than some other people, but it was explained very simply. And a lot of problems that I had with my prospect is that they would actually tell me, said, you know what, this seems like a good product, but I can't explain it as well as you can, Kenny. And so, you're a nurse, you know how to do it. Because I was doing the presentation. This is back when we did hotel presentations, and so I was up there with the PowerPoint and the microphone explaining, okay, this is how the product works. This, it's invented by Dr. So and so. It, has a secret ingredient from this Amazon rainforest, yada yada yada. All this hype and sales missile that mostly no one cares about. Okay, and so instead of trying to explain it, which is what Lau's doing, okay, and I don't blame you for wanting to explain it because they asked, what is it? It would be better and more fruitful for your business for you to just say, especially if it says allows using social media, so this is even easier. And so, it's difficult to explain. Um, if you want, I could send you some information. Would you like that? Simple. Or say something like this. You know what? It's difficult to explain. I have a 15-minute video that shows you. Do you want me to send you the link? All right. One thing I don't want you to do is if someone says, what is it? Is that you copy and paste a bunch of links to them, hoping that they'll open it. Because if you do that, then it's going to look like kind of like, what is that called? It looks like spam and it looks like junk mail. It's like they look at it and they are just instantly turned off. Their arms are crossed like, oh, They're just copy and pasting something. It's kind of like how you when you go to the mailbox and you get your mail and you literally rifle not rifle but sort through your mail like right on top of the trash bin, and some of the things, some of the envelopes don't even get opened. Same thing with your social media messages. If there's a bunch of links and a bunch of a bunch of explanation, they're just going to kind of shut off and say, oh yeah, Kenny just copied and pasted this. They will not read it. They'll just kind of move on to the next. They might block you depending on your relationship. Who knows, right? If they're good friends, they're not going to block. But if they're just some strangers, they're just like, you know what? All Kenny wants to do is sell me. And so don't just send a link unless you ask for it first. And so you know what? I got. It's difficult for me to explain, but if you'd like, I could send you some information. Would you be open to that? Ooh, I love that question. Would you be open to that? All right. Because no one wants to really say, I'm not open, right? No one wants to say that. So it's easier for you to do that. And so when they ask, what is it? Say, you know what? I can send you a little bit of information. And what information should you send? Whatever is shortest that can generate the most interest. You do not want to answer their questions necessarily. You want to, it's kind of like if you want someone to come to the dinner party, you don't want to feed them first. You just kind of want to give them the appetizer. Okay. When you're at a food court and they're giving out samples, whether it's at Costco, they're giving out samples there, or if you're in a food cart and the one of the restaurants there is offering free samples, usually it's like a piece of chicken on a toothpick, and they say you want to try, they're only going to give you one. They're only going to give you just enough to see if you want more. And that's what I invite you to do. You give them a video. Hopefully, the shorter the better. 2 minute, 5 minute. You don't want it to be too long. Just enough to see if they want more. And if they do want more, that's when you can invite them to like the 45-minute webinar or to a one-on-one meeting or to sit down with you or whatever the next step is. But the first step should be just a little bit. You know what? I can send you a little bit of information, something that generates that interest. Because if you satisfy their hunger, they're not going to want to sit down at the dinner table with you. If you satisfy their curiosity, they're not going to really get the true message. So send them something that generates some interest, and your company should have something like that. All right, because typically most network marketing companies, you just go on YouTube, put the company name in, and there's dozens and dozens, probably maybe even hundreds of videos about that company. Pick one that generates interest, see if they want more information. And if you want to be really professional about things, what I invite you to do is also I invite you to also book that follow-up appointment. Book a follow-up appointment and say, you know what? They say, you know what? Yeah, I could look at the information. Say, perfect. You know what? It'll take 15 minutes for you to look at it when we have a chance to do it. And they might hem and haw and say, well, I can't look at it until tonight. I'll look at it tonight at 8 o'clock. Okay. Or it could be tomorrow, or it could be right now, whenever the case may be. Just whatever that is, make an appointment to call them a little bit after they've had a chance to watch it. So it takes 15 minutes to watch, let's say. They watch it at 8, say, listen, cool, I'll call you at 8:30 because I do want to get some of your thoughts on that. And that does a couple things. What it does is this, all right, especially for you, Lau, if you're going to be using social media, all right, is that it puts them on kind of like a little bit of a time clock. It gives them a little bit of oh, what's the word I'm looking for? Oh man, oh, I can't even remember the word, but it stops them from procrastinating because they promised you that they would look at the information at 8 o'clock, so they're gonna, okay, or they're more likely to because they know that you're gonna call at 8:30. All right, it's different if you say, well, let me give you a call in a couple days, and then you call them and they say, well, I haven't had a chance to look at it yet. Okay, no problem. I'll call you in another couple days, and they still haven't looked at it. And then the third time you call, they haven't watched it. Then they don't want to answer because it's rude or they feel it's weird. And then all of a sudden you never talk to them again. Give them that time. So you know what? I'll call you at 8:30 and follow that up with a call or however that may be. I say call because I'm just used to saying that. But if you're using social media, there's always direct messaging, and then there's video conference, whatever the case may be. But it's important that you follow up with that. If you are piquing their interest with a little piece of media that's supposed to pique their interest, follow up with them as soon as you can so that you can book them into something. Well, first of all, to see if they're even open. They might look at it and say, you know what, this is not a good fit for me, and that's cool. You need to let those people go. But if they say, you know what, I do want to learn more, or they start asking questions, you just kind of say, well, that was just designed to see if you want more information. The next step would be, we could book you into a webinar. It's going to answer all, if not most, of your questions. We have one coming up at 8 o'clock or whenever the case may be. Just book them into that, and then the same thing happens again, right? Do you know they're going, let's say they agree to go to a webinar at 8 o'clock, it's 45 minutes long. You say, you know what, I'm going to give you a call at 8:50. It'll be done by then. I'm going to answer some more of your questions, and you can just keep on going from there. And so, Lau, I trust you got some great value out of this, because if you're using social media and if you're getting people at least to say, what is it? That's kudos to you, because I know that means you are prospecting. Most network marketers, they don't prospect enough. So if you're having people ask you, what is it? That's great. Follow up with difficult to explain, but I could send you some information. Would you like it? Simple. And then when they say yes, again, send them a link or whatever the case may be. Or even before they say yes, say, you know what, it takes about 5 minutes to look at, 15 minutes to look at, book that follow up appointment, then send them the link. And then you learn how to do that a couple times, and then you teach your team how to do that. You're going to have a successful, growing business that, you know what, that's creating some great money and creating a lot of time for you. All right, trust you got some great value out of this. Again, I invite you to like, subscribe, share, comment. If you want to see more videos like this, go over to my blog. It's kennysantos.com. You could even put your name and email in and get an awesome audio and grow in your business. Now, remember this, every day, multiple times a day, the universe sends us miracles. We only got to do two things about that. We got to recognize those miracles. And then, of course, my favorite part, we get to accept those miracles. All right, take care and create a great day.